Africans are celebrating the founding of OAU under the theme of Pan-Africanism and the African Renaissance. What do we mean by that?
And I'm very pleased again that I have this interview. It's a very historic moment throughout the continent, and especially in Ethiopia, which is the hosting country of the African Union and the honoring country of this great anniversary of the 50th anniversary of the African Union, since Ethiopia was one of the main founders of the African Union when it was the OAU, Organization of the African Unity. It's a pleasure for me and everybody from the continent to be in this eve of celebrating the 50th anniversary, which is really historic for everybody. If I come down to the theme of the 50th anniversary, it's the Renaissance and the development of the continent. And African leaders seems to be aware and rose up from the sleeping moments that they didn't achieve a lot of things throughout the 50 years actually of the continent. So I think this 50th anniversary will make everybody aware of stability, peace, development, democratization processes of political elections and political developments throughout worldwide. I hope it's going to be the best eve to collaborate with within the continent. On one side, when you see Africa is celebrating its 50th anniversary, it's beyond maturity of the continent again and again actually, but it's still a lot of things, a lot of challenge. Poverty is still there, civil wars is still there, political crisis is still there. I mean, we have a lot of challenges in the continent, but on the other hand, we have a lot of developments throughout the continent. We should be very proud of the continent, and we should be very pleased that we have reached this stage according to the developments. For instance, Ethiopia, before 50 years, it was beyond zero. People really poor, famine was taking place. Even before 20 years, before 25 years actually, people were every day were dying for salivation, hunger, a lot of lack of political willingness, lack of fairness in politics as well actually. But today it's a lot of things that developed and took place within the 20 years, last 20 years within Ethiopia actually. For instance, for example, since it's the hosting country of the African Union, and it's a lot of developments when you see the infrastructure, when you see the economic growth, when you see the stability in the region, that Ethiopia is really playing a good role, and encouraging its neighbors, IGAD members, neighbors to cooperate with unity of maturity and stability within the continent when it starts from the regional of the OAU organization's hosting country. So I think when you see West Africa, Ghana is still peaceful. People understood what peace and stability means to people. If you see Northern Africa, you can took place the political crisis which took place from 2011 to 2012, which actually people were aware and playing their social political role, and took even the dictators outside of political scenarios. So you can see it's a big challenge to still evaluate and commit full development throughout the continent, but we have a lot of developments and economic growth as well. So we should be proud of what we have and try to achieve more than this we did today. Africa is full of natural resources. It's full of human resources as well, but it only needs little touch that refreshing people's mentality and ideologies. When we say and hear that Africa has a good future actually ahead, it's not about Africa sleeping or waking up one morning and finding out their bright future in front of everybody's door. But it's about the people trying to have a better life, better economic, better education, better investments. But all the international community are trying to invest in Africa today. They're all coming back to Africa. Even African diaspora are understanding the credibility of being an African, of being a good patriotism personality, to be back on the continent and invest their education, their knowledge, their experience, their everything that they have shared with the worldwide, to be back home and enjoy their within their homes. That can make Africa develop, that can make Africa remain peaceful, that can make Africa reach where it really expected to reach when African leaders were trying to found this Organization of African Unity, or OAU, Organization of African Unity. It's not about bringing all the presidents or African leaders together in one club and saying that we're all united. We have to unite spiritually, we have to unite heartily, we have to unite mentally, we have to unite physically actually. One of the challenges we still face in Africa is that if I am from Djibouti, or I'm from Ethiopia, or I'm from Ghana, or I'm from Nigeria, I cannot easily travel to another Western region, or Eastern region, or Northern region, or SADC for Southern region in the continent. And I'm an African actually. I have to find visa, immigration rules and regulations, laws. It's a bit complicated. So when we say Africa is united, Africa is celebrating its 50th anniversary, we should pass by these challenging gates of steel that we have to knock and pass it by. On the other hand, this future we can reach when we unite all our mentalities and ideologies in one, so we can achieve what we are really expecting. I remember the late Prime Minister of Ethiopia, God bless his soul, late Prime Minister Zenawi. He was saying that I am an African. When he plays political or diplomatical missions in outside, he was not only talking for Ethiopia, he was not talking only for East Africa. I wish every other leader of the continent should have done the same thing. So the Western, or when you're in the United States of America or the European countries, or even in Asia, they can understand the priority of an African leader that can represent the whole continent, and that can make us proud, that can make us achieve actually the bright future ahead actually. Africa is rich, but we have to invest our richness while we are thinking very positive. To all try to unite our mentality, focusing to enjoy having stable Africa, then we can talk about development, we can talk about economy, we can talk about infrastructure, or we can talk about education as well, and we can reach a good goal.
As a goodwill ambassador and a senior journalist, how do you see Ethiopia's contribution to the African unity?
As a matter of fact, Ethiopia is the father of the African Union. It's the father and the mother at the same time. It's in 1963 when His Majesty late Haile Selassie was one of the fathers of founding fathers of the OAU. As from that, actually, Ethiopia is the capital city of the African Union. It's the capital city of whole Africa. We call Ethiopia the Lion of Africa. It's not because it reached this stage, but still it hosted the African Union with all pressures, with all political crisis, with all challenge of African continent. It tried to host the OAU and then the African Union with honor, with protocols, with security, with every manner, every single stage of African Union immunity that they have reached actually. I'm so proud to say thank you Ethiopians, thank you all Ethiopian people and its leaders who have achieved this goal. I hope Ethiopia's contribution to the African Union, which even led the continent to have this big beautiful gift of African Union's new building. It was the late Prime Minister of Ethiopia who tried hard to have something for Africa as a gift actually from China, and he did it actually with achievements of stability of Ethiopia, political and diplomatic immunity that they provide to all the senior leaders of the continent while the African Union Summit is taking place. So I hope it will continue as a mother and a father and a founder of African Union, as it all played and it plays as up to today actually. I'm very sure everybody in the whole continent, from east to west, from north to south, they're all proud to have Ethiopia. Without Ethiopia, I don't think even the continent would have reached the stage that they have reached today. As well as I'm part of the media, we should have played our role, we should have made positively play our roles of stabilizing Africa, making developed Africa, making sustainable, remained African Union with unity, with one soul, with one spirit, and with one good mood actually. I hope Africa is blessed and will remain blessed long-lasting life. Everybody is very proud and very pleased to be in Addis Ababa as part of the communication and media departments, and I'm so proud to have Walter as well. You're really playing a positive role. We should keep it up. I really thank you. God bless you. Thank you.